I'd like to turn it over to our council and vice mayor for any comments they may have. Yes, we'll start with Council Member Marsh.
I had a busy couple weeks since the last meeting. On February 9th, I attended an all-day work session hosted by our city manager. In that meeting, staff briefed the council on their strategies and plans for the upcoming year. It was a public meeting, and several citizens did attend, including the press. I continue to be impressed by the depth and breadth of quality, expertise, and knowledge of our city's staff. On the 12th, I watched the Super Bowl.
Yay!
On the 14th, I attended the Pinal County Water Augmentation Authority Board meeting. There will be a post-basin study workshop at Global Water on March 3rd. The board did a major study of our water basin, our aquifer, and Jake Lenderking from Global Water chaired it, and he'll be hosting the meeting at Global Water on March 3rd, and that is an open meeting. The Colorado River Management Team reports that we had a good snowpack in the watershed, and it looks like we'll remain in Tier 2 shortage, so the rules won't change for use of Colorado River water in the coming year. On the 17th, I participated in the Lunch and Learn at the Senior Center. The featured speaker was the mayor. Mayor Smith shared relevant info from the work session briefings, and we had an audience of more than 50 seniors. We're actually outgrowing the Senior Center. At the end, there were drawings for door prizes from the mayor and 3 $25 gift cards from me. So if you want to come, you can share in the drawings at the end if you stay till the end. And that's about it for me. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilmember Marsh. Anyone else? Yes, Councilmember Wade.
It was a pretty busy period. I attended the same meetings that Councilmember Marsh spoke of. But one of the things that I had an opportunity to participate in was a Black History Month celebration over at Leading Edge Academy. It was probably the best Black History Month program that I have ever attended in 30 years of being involved in such programs. The nomenclature, I guess, if you would, or the composition of the members that were there in attendance was such a representation of our community that it was emotional at some point. Looking at the kids and their parents and them supporting one another. They had a Underground Railroad travel program, if you will. So went from different rooms within the school, and the kids had done all the research, done all the presentation on the railroad, Underground Railroad. It was fantastic. Just the amount of energy and ideas that they put into the program was just fantastic. Then they did a entertainment piece in the gymnasium there at Leading Edge. That included their senior band, dance program, and a choir program as well. I mean, these guys really put it together. They really had an outstanding program. And as I shared with them, I was the guest speaker in attendance. And as I shared with them is, I didn't do them any justice. They needed somebody much more important, much more glamorous, if you will, than me. I should not have even been there. I should have been in the audience just watching. But it was a wonderful, wonderful program. It was a truly a depiction of what the community can do when it comes together and it comes forth just for the purpose of providing information for no other reason. It wasn't political. It wasn't any of that. It was just about the kids producing the product, the program, and their parents supporting them. It was packed. And if you've ever been to that school, you know how large that gymnasium is, their public space is. It was absolutely packed. So I applaud them for what they did. I'm, again, in awe and honored that I was be able to participate in it. And I look forward to what they'll do next time, because they have some jumping up to do more than what they did this time, for sure. That's all I had, Madam Mayor.
Very much, Councilmember Wade. Councilmember Gettle.
Thank you, Mayor. I have 2 items tonight I wanted to bring up. And first of all, just a huge thank you to our city staff and especially to the residents, citizens here of Maricopa who have joined the Maricopa Leadership Academy, which had their official opening last week. Our second meeting is tomorrow evening. A lot of great work has gone in the presentations that are there to help us understand as citizens of our community how the community functions and how it all comes together. So I wanted to thank staff publicly and also our citizens who are participating in that program. Look for the next series. It'll be here probably later on this year, if I'm correct, and we'd love to have more of us participate in the Leadership Academy. The second item I wanted to bring up is just a major milestone has happened here in our city recently. On February 9th, we broke ground for our new police station and dispatch center. The facility is about 32,000 square foot. It's a great, fabulous facility. We've seen the drawings and are excited to have this come on board. We want to, I would like to just express my gratitude also to our city manager for helping us to find ways to build this without raising taxes and to provide such a needed service to our citizens here. So we're grateful and excited to have this facility come online. We're looking about an 18-month, 2-year build out, and so within the next couple of years, we should have a new place to call home for our police department and our dispatch. So thank you, Mayor, for the time.
You're welcome. Thank you, Councilmember Gettle. Councilmember Manfredi.
Turn it on for me. And you did. And you did. But it's been a long couple weeks. We've done a lot of stuff. We've all attended the groundbreaking, which was a great way to show what we're doing as a city. And the day after that groundbreaking, we had our futures planning, which was mentioned a little bit earlier. Our futures planning is simply that. It's where we plan the future as we see it, our vision for the future, where we're going to go as a city, how we're going to get there, the steps that we need to take. Some of that future planning is a 10-year CIP that we've come up with recently. Where we used to plan out 5 years, now we're planning 10 years in advance. And sooner or later, we'll be planning even further in advance. But when you look at it, the future planning meeting that we had was a great way. And, city staff and our city manager did a great job in breaking everything down for us. I missed that day, our annual legislative day for Central Arizona governments to attend that because it was more important to us as a city. I also attended our MAG Transportation Policy Committee meeting recently, and MAG is Maricopa Association of Governments. Now, you would think that's cool if it was us, but it's not. It's the great state of Maricopa, or the county of Maricopa. And Maricopa Association of Governments brings together a bunch of governments, right, that are part of a collective to work towards transportation and or a lot of other things in the region. The city of Maricopa is a member of that, as well as Central Arizona governments, and it allows for us to have a say in some things that are important to us, including transportation funding. Part of what MAG is working on is the sales taxes up in the Maricopa County and how those impact us. And a lot of people don't realize how much impact sales taxes in the county of Maricopa have on our future. And our future in the city of Maricopa is all tied to the SR 347 and how transportation funding derived from sales taxes in Maricopa County will help provide for fixes on the 347. So having us as part of that committee, having Nancy on the committee and myself and others in part of MAG helps us to really work to make sure that we're pressing some influence for our members, for our residents, So also with MAG, it's important that we understand that MAG is working directly with ADOT all the time and to have those relationships. So as part of my job, I serve on the board of RTAC, Regional Transportation Advisory Committee for the state of Arizona. So we had a meeting and I could not attend the meeting, I was away, but I was able to lend my support for that meeting because in that meeting, we gave a recommendation letter for our newest ADOT director. And if you're not aware, she passed through the, I guess, highly partisan approval process at the Senate and at the state level, unanimous. So that's good for us, is that we're helping to support her and bring her in. I guess there's a couple other things. I've met with the folks at Cox Communications to talk a little bit about, what they're doing in Maricopa and some of the lower income plans that they have and how they're going to push those out, where you can get Cox internet service for like $9.99 actually, depending on if your children get free and reduced lunch and all those things. So it's pretty cool. They sent that out to us, and there's a bunch of stuff going on in the city, and I made a little post today that we don't know everything that's going on as your council members, as your mayor, as your city. So we love for you to come to these meetings, stand up there, do a call to the public, and tell us what's important to you, so that when we are having futures meetings, when we are having discussions, and we are planning the future of Maricopa, your input is taken into account. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Vitiello.
So I'm sure everybody has driven out of Maricopa since Saturday and noticed on the right-hand side, you do not have to drive a four-wheel truck anymore. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Thank you, ADOT. If you've driven down 238, you noticed the vast improvements on your way to San Diego or Yuma or everybody else you go. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. We push this day in and day out. The 238 and the 347 is so important to us. I put out online for people to go and write a little note to ADOT, sign up, and they can get emails and stuff like that. And I had somebody come on there and say, why bother? You guys have been talking about this for 15 years. Well, guess what? We spoke about the overpass for 15 years. And we got it, because we continually spoke about it. We continually went to ADOT meetings. The mayor attends 12 of them minimum a year. Let me tell you something. To go stand in front of those people and tell them what's going on in your city over and over again gets you a $55 million overpass. Now, we need a lot more money than that for the 238 and the 347. But if we stop talking about it, we will never get it. And I told that person online, this is what I'm elected for. This is what we are elected for, to make sure that we get what we need. We need to fix the 347. So if you have an opportunity to go out and send a little note to ADOT, be nice, be courteous, because you get more with honey than you do with vinegar. Please go out and just post there that I've lived here. 67% of our people drive out of here. 76% of our people drive out of here to go to work or school or somewhere else. We want to keep them here. So the more we keep them here, the better off we are, obviously. But the bottom line is, for right now, this is not getting fixed today or tomorrow. But if we don't keep talking about the 347, we will never get the 347 fixed. So continue talking about it. Continue asking us questions. Continue going out to ADOT. Come to an ADOT meeting if they host one here, which they always do every year. So please continue talking about something that is near and dear to our hearts, because I have a close friend of mine who's still in a hospital from 7 years ago. And I can go on and on about this, but the bottom line is, please understand that we work day in and day out for you to get things done in the city. Thank you, Mayor.
Welcome. All right, just a few items. Speaking of ADOT, let's stay on transportation, because my friend in the audience, Ron, loves when we talk transportation. So the ADOT, Arizona ADOT State Transportation Board meeting was this past Friday, and because I was giving a session to the seniors at the Senior Center, Vice Mayor Vitiello went in my place because it's important that we're always there. They comment frequently about, and what's interesting is during this ADOT State Transportation Board meeting, one of the board members is now asking questions. What are we doing on that State Route 347? Why is there a bill for 18 million and a bill for 19 million? And how's that working? And their staff is giving them the information that they need to understand. So they are now talking Maricopa, State Route 347, very important. So thank you, Vice Mayor, for making sure that we were in present. Pardon me? Oh, he wants me to bring up timing of the lights, and I'll bring that up here. Well, I'll share with you just a little bit. So I asked for a meeting with the brand new director of ADOT, and Director Toth has given me the blessing of being able to come and see her. I think it's March 1st. Katie Proctor will be going with me, and we're likely to invite Lieutenant Governor from Gila River, who offered to help us with 347 discussions with the Arizona Department of Transportation Director. So I'm likely to take her if her availability shows possible as well. But Representative Teresa Martinez wrote a letter to Director Toth regarding the signalization on 347 and how can it move smoother. She asked me to follow up, so I sent a follow-up letter. Director Toth is hearing Maricopa State Route 347 pretty frequently. So she said that they'd be looking into the signalization and finding out ways to help. That's north of the city, just so you don't confuse it with within the city. As Councilmember Gettle mentioned, we did have the groundbreaking for the police department, and the only thing I want to add there is that if you remember back to the State of the City, we talked about renderings to realities, and this was one of the renderings that we showed, and now we're entering into the reality aspect of it. So pretty cool when you get to see that timeline pass and things start to happen that you've been promising. The Futures meeting was exciting. People have touched on that already. And I think it was touched on, but if you're not aware, anytime you see that posted, you are welcome as the public to come and listen and to hear. City Manager Horst, I think I already shared with you, but I'll share with the public. When I shared some of the exciting things that we talked about at the Senior Lunch and Learn, they were thrilled. They loved what they were seeing, loved the direction that the city was going. So some really good information that was shared there. Probably one of your part's very fun, City Manager Horst, I loved it, but one of my favorite was when Elliot Pollack, if you all know, he is considered an economics expert, not only within the state of Arizona, but nationally and even globally. So he came to speak to us regarding what's going on in the city of Maricopa. And just so you know, in regards to housing, he indicated the city of Maricopa is doing it right. And so that's very important, especially when I talk to you a little bit about my next item. He indicated that if you aren't keeping up with housing, you are losing your competitive edge. And what does that mean? That means you're losing your competitive edge for new retail, for new commercial, for high-paying jobs. Because if you're not keeping up with housing and you don't have places for their employees to live, those high-paying jobs won't come. And so keeping up with housing is very critical to the competitive edge for our city. So keep that in mind when you think about housing. So the one thing I do want to talk about, if you so feel led to get involved, currently one of the most important bills being discussed is SB 1117, and it's regarding zoning within cities. And folks, if you are worried about what the City of Maricopa and City Council is doing regarding housing, you will be extraordinarily super concerned about what the state is trying to do to our city. They're trying to take away all zoning laws, all restrictions on zoning, allowing housing, multifamily, single-family homes to go up anywhere and everywhere without concern as to what it looks like. There are basically no zoning codes related to housing in this bill. So if you are so influenced by what I'm trying to share with you here, please write your legislators telling them how, and I quote from, you can actually go to my Mayor Nancy Smith Facebook page and you can get the exact words, but basically, additionally, it abolishes the citizen review process, violates voter-approved general plans and the general plan statute. It takes all of your power away from you, as well as taking City Council's power away from them. Please write your legislators and let them know that you oppose this bill if you do, and I think most of us will. As Councilmember Gettle mentioned, I attended and spoke at the return of the Maricopa Citizen Leadership Academy. This week was the first week they talked about the organization of Maricopa. So if you're interested in the city council, city manager organizational type that we run under in the city of Maricopa, this class is perfect for you because they go in depth into that. And then Matt, our finance director, basically gave outstanding update. If you ever questioned anything in regards to your property taxes in general within the city, he gave an outstanding teaching on how that works within the city. And I am curious because one of the requests of our those that are in attendance is to attend a city council meeting or a committee meeting. Do we have any that are in the class? Wave at me if you're, yep, see, so 4 that I see that are in the class and they're attending their first city council meeting. Maybe not first ever, but they're coming here to meet the requirements for that class. So very cool. I also attended the Omni Maricopa storage ribbon cutting. Yes, we do have another storage unit, and believe it or not, they all fill up fast. It's kind of crazy, but these folks have done their research and they believe that they'll fill up fast as well. It's over by the Walmart commercial area. And then lastly, Vice Mayor Vidiello already touched on it, but I want to give special thanks to our staff who are phenomenal, to ADOT, who actually, you know, we all get a little frustrated with what's going on 347, but they came through, and our community members who followed the directions and said, fill out this form on ADOT, share your story, and let's get those potholes finally filled on 347 and 238. And it worked. They were here within 2-3 weeks of when we started that process. Ben, you might have started it actually long before, but the community feedback really worked well, and they did a nice job. You might have seen my video. It says, that's a good mill and fill. And if you don't know what that is, I'll explain it to you later. But anyway, so that's all that I have. That ends the report from the council and the mayor, and we'll go to the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'll keep mine brief, and I shared this with a few of you earlier, but I was asked by a group of seniors, they call themselves empty nesters, so I guess that qualifies me too, if I would make a presentation. So they said normally 12 to 18. Well, I had 42 last night that I hosted in my home. I think they came for my wife's dessert more than the presentation, but we covered a lot of the 5 thrusts that we talked about in our futures planning, and I think some of them are actually here tonight. I know the one's here, and a few others may be watching who want to get more involved and know what's going on, so that's great. I think the comments at the end of the night is, we feel better now, because they understand, and what they basically said is, if you're relying on social media for your facts, you're making probably a mistake. So they now have learned that the best way to know and learn is to come to the source, and that's, I think, why some of them are here today. So we spent about 3 hours last night, and but I think it was well worth the time, and I appreciated that opportunity. It doesn't mean we're going to provide free brownies to everybody in the community, but they got them. So thank you.
Thank you very much, City Manager. If you'll give me 1 second, let me go back. I missed one of my items, which is really important to me. The vets invited me in for a tour of their vet center, and I ended up having a great dialogue with them. And one of the things I was most impressed with is the fact that they are actively seeking young vets to be a part of their group, which is awesome. And they're also actively seeking women vets to be part of the group. You know, traditionally when we think of a vet center, we're not necessarily thinking of the women vets, right? But I love the fact that these folks are actually actively trying to pull in as many female vets as possible, as well as young vets. That makes for a very balanced community of their own. So I was excited and thrilled about that, and thank you for the invitation. So at this, yes? I'm sorry, what? Oh, how many do we have here tonight, veterans? Stand up, please. Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Oh, are you a member of the Vet Center? We have a female vet back there. Okay, let's grab her. I love it. Very good. Thank you very much. That'll take us to the call to the public. Let me go ahead and read this so that we all know what's going on during the call to the public. The procedures to follow if you address the council. Our council requests that you express your ideas in 3 minutes or less and refrain from any personal attacks or derogatory statements about any city employee, a fellow citizen, or anyone else, whether in the audience or not. The mayor will limit discussion whenever they deem such an action appropriate to the proper conduct of the meeting. At the conclusion of an open call to the public, individual members of the council may respond to criticism made by those who have addressed the council member personally, may ask staff to review a matter, or may ask that a matter be put on a future agenda. However, members of the council shall not discuss or take legal action on any matter during an open call to the public unless the matters are properly noticed for discussion and legal action. So that we all understand that, I do have 4 speaker cards. We'll start with them first, and then if anyone else in the audience would like to approach the podium and speak to the council, you may do so after. So last city council meeting, we had a speaker card turned in specifically for this meeting, February 22nd. Pavel Norvol, let me spell it, Novosyolov. Is this person present, and would they like to speak? Okay, thank you very much. So these turned in tonight are 3. We'll first ask Barry McCain to speak during the call to the public. Thank you, Barry.
Can you hear? All right. Councilman Manfredi, I have to say the same thing as you. It's been long, 2 weeks. 109 bills last week, only 25 today. And I want to personally thank this city council, and I'm so impressed with our staff. I don't know what to say. It's been long bills. We've got a bill going through the legislature for our veterans. Of course, I'm always for our veterans. We've got the I-303. I'm happy about that. Don't know what to say. That's going to help out with the 247. So getting that with Mayor Price, we're doing great. And I love the presentation with Elliot Pollack. We go back so many years. I don't know what to say with that again. And it's very informative with our seniors. I'm thrilled with that. I don't have anything I can say bad. The only thing is I'm sorry I wasn't at Leading Edge Academy because my daughter's the vice principal there, but I got to be at the Capitol. They're 8 to 8, and I'm not feeling too good about the 11 and 12 o'clocks coming up here, but we have that 303 funding for it. ADOT's got $8 million that we can get. And I'm so thankful to this being participating. It was with Elliot Pollack, and I'm impressed with this city council, but we have so many things we're doing good. The one thing I'm having trouble with now is our homeless people who weren't homeless before COVID came out. We've got a bill for rental housing. This will work out, so we've got a lot of work to do, but I want you to know that I'm very proud with City of Maricopa. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCain. Next speaker card is Elizabeth Howe.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Howell, and I'm here on behalf of the Age Friendly Committee to remind everybody that the citywide shredathon is this Saturday. If you put it in your brain and didn't put it in your calendar, please write it on your calendar. It is this Saturday. It wasn't last Saturday, and it's not next week. It's this coming Saturday at Copper Sky. And I want to thank all of you. You guys on the council support us every year at this, and I really appreciate that. And I also want to thank the staff at Copper Sky who are providing the tables and chairs and things like that that we need to make this a good event. We'll have the truck there from FOR Food Bank to take all of the canned and non-perishable items. And, and please bring a donation for the food bank and bring your paper to be shredded. When we started 5 years ago, we had a limit of, I think it was 4 or 5 banker boxes, and we only were able to get the truck about halfway full. So all stops are off. Bring whatever you got that you want to dispose of, and we'll get it shredded for you right then. And I appreciate all of the support from the city. It's a citywide event, so don't be shy if you're new. Just bring your stuff, and we'll take care of it for you. Thank you.
One more time, Elizabeth, would you give the date, time, and location?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's this Saturday, the 25th of February, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Copper Sky in the north parking lot. You'll see the big truck there. It's got the big dragon on it, the big red dragon with the big mouth. And we should have some signage up on Bolin and on John... Martin, no, not John Wayne, the pastor, Martin Luther King, yeah. On that, there should be some signage there for that too.
Perfect. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Okay, thank you.
My next and last speaker card is for Penny Williams. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you for coming, and thank you. I was at the Senior Center and very much enjoyed your talk. I'm here to ask something. I am representing the Al-Anon family group that meets at the library on Wednesdays at 10 o'clock. We're a very small group, and this is half of my group you see in here. You know,
We agree with whatever she's done.
yeah, we have come, actually, the AA group that also meets at the library came and asked for a fee reduction for meeting at the community center at the library. But even that is too rich for our blood. We are a small group, like I said, this is half of us, we provide a service that's not provided anywhere else. I'm not sure if everybody knows what the Al-Anon family groups are, but we support the family members of people who have a drinking problem. We don't support, we're not the drinkers, we're the family members. And there's a lot of stuff that happens that Al-Anon can help with. So if you want more information, just contact me and I will be more than happy to come and tell you what we do. So I am requesting that for 12-step groups, if we could meet in a city facility, the library, the senior center, at a no cost, because we don't have a lot of funds. We don't earn money. We don't produce money. We help the family and friends of people who are at their wits' end. So that is my ask. Thank you.
Thank you, Penny. I also saw the city manager pull out a business card for you, and if you wouldn't mind contacting him, that would be fantastic. Thank you. That is the end of the speaker cards. Would anyone from the audience like to approach the podium and talk with the council? Yes, please do.
I'm sorry I didn't fill the paper out. I just don't like paperwork.
We'll forgive you this time.
I'm Tom Kelly. I run the Veterans Center, and I'm also the commander of Post, American Legion Post 133. I come up here to thank you guys. We've been in the Veterans Center for, about a year and a half, almost 2 years. It's a great place. A lot of room for us, and we enjoy it. We just want to make it bigger. I come up here to invite you to the Vietnam Veterans flag raising on the 29th of March out at the Vet Center at 0800. Our post is mostly made up of a lot of Vietnam veterans, as you know, and so we'd like you to show up, to come out and wave us Vietnam veterans on. So basically that's what, and to thank you again. I mean, we love it. I just want to make it bigger, and I want to get more veterans out there. And the female veterans, where's she at? See me
Now let's
after the
get her.
meeting? So thank you very much again.
Yeah, thank you. What time? 8 o'clock?
0800, right.
Excuse me, 0800. Hi, sir. State your name, please.
Good evening, Council. My name is Jacob Lean. I'm here on behalf of actually our neighborhood. I am a newer resident. We live in Saddleback Farms, I believe is what it's called, off of Steen Road in Murphy, right across the street from the newer high school. We are not the 347 or the 238, but our road it's been washed out. There's currently puddles in it. They range from 12 feet deep to 12 inches deep to 18 inches deep. It sprinkled a little bit today, and it almost was dried up, and it's back to being horrible again. So we're looking kind of for some help or direction on where we need to go or who to speak to.
Who is the right person to speak?
Thank you very much. City Manager Horst, do you have another card? Or who would you like to?
That's Ben's job.
That's Ben's card. All right.
That's all.
Grab a card from Ben and have a conversation with him. That would be great.
Thank you very much, Council.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Oh, Councilmember Wade would like to. Oh, we have one more. Please come forward. State your name.
Hi, my name's Chrissy. I'm actually here for kind of the same reason as Al-Anon. I'm with Narcotics Anonymous, which is, man, I'm usually a loud person. I'm surprised I need this. Which is Narcotics Anonymous. We are obviously a big need in this city and in the country worldwide, but we also are looking for maybe like a restructure. I know I talked to the city manager before, looking for maybe a restructure as far as prices for meeting rooms, or even a facility that allows us to have more of an availability of a meeting room. We are fully self-supporting. We try to do our best with only the members and their donations, but it is hard. Kind of like Al-Anon said, it is difficult to raise the money. We've moved around quite a few times. We've tried churches, but as the city grows, the church's need for their own, I guess, events and activities is growing as well. Currently, we are at the library. We rent a room 3 nights a week. It is $35 each meeting. It's getting costly. We really want to have a presence in the city. I also have teenage kids, so I want to put the word out there, have people out there that are available for children, teens, adults, anyone that's going through addiction and wants to get into a recovery program. So I was just hoping that possibly being here would kind of put emphasis on the need of somewhere that is affordable for us, maybe a monthly fee versus a per event fee. I think that would be very helpful, but something just a little bit more manageable for the groups, the 12-step programs, and the families of the 12-step programs that are holding meetings for the community.
Thank you. City Manager Horst, since you've already had a conversation. Okay, perfect. Would you contact him again? Thank you. Anyone else? All right, Councilmember Wade.
Good evening again, everyone. I have a couple of items I just want to share with you that you'll know that's taking place, community support efforts. First of all, Friday or Saturday night will be the Season of Change Gala that supports the Against Abuse organization, Against Abuse, Inc. And basically, it is a fundraiser. It's going to be a masked parade. So there would be masks and nice suits and nice dresses and what have you. This is, I believe, the 10th year of the Seeds of Change Gala. It's going to be held at the Ak-Chin Entertainment Center, and the tickets are going fast. So if you know of someone who has access to tickets, or you can go online and get access to tickets, they're going very fast. So it may even be sold out as I speak. But I just want to make sure that you know about it. And then next month, on March 25th, there will be a Dancing for Our Stars fundraiser, and that's to support the Boys and Girls Club of the Sun Corridor. Again, it's a semi-formal event that is going to, all the fundraiser will go towards supporting the, supporting the Boys and Girls Club. There's actually a little competition going on with that, because there are members of the city of Maricopa, and there are members of the city of Casa Grande. And so, unfortunately, if Maricopa, if Maricopa does not win, then our mayor will have to wear a jersey from the Casa Grande High School at the meeting. We can't have that. We just cannot have that
Cannot
happen.
have that.
Can't have it happen. So I suggest that you get your tickets. You can do votes. You can go online, and I even have some cards that I can pass out to you when I'm not up there, okay? And so I want to make sure that you know that that is taking place. This is the second year. Last year, I believe we didn't have, the mayor did, we did win.
No, no competition last year.
Oh, okay. Yes, that's right. Okay. No competition. But this time there is. And so we want to make sure that you're aware of it. I will be one of the dancers for the city. So please cheer me on so that I can make sure that I do okay and I don't embarrass us and embarrass the city, especially if the mayor has to wear a jersey. That's really going to cut it for us. But it's going to be fun. If you are looking forward to some night entertainment, it'd be great. It'll be March 25th at the Ak-Chin. That also will be the Ak-Chin Entertainment Center. And it's going to be a blast. So if you want some more information, I got cards for you. I can pass them on to you. And thank you very much for coming on Saturday. And thank you very much for coming in March as well, if I don't get a chance to say thank you.
Thank you. One last chance. Anyone else from the public would like to approach the podium? I can't tell if she's looking for a chair. I think she, okay, perfect. So seeing none, I'll close the call to the public, and that'll take us to the consent agenda. At this time, we have consent agenda items 7.1 through 7.6. I have no speaker cards for any of the consent agenda items. Council members, do you have any questions, concerns, or issues that you'd like to talk about first? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Vice Mayor Vidiello and seconded by Councilmember Wade. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. That'll take us to the regular agenda. At this time, we'll go to regular agenda item 8.1. 8.1 is a presentation 23-03. The presentation is going to be given by Troy Kimball in Senator Sinema's office, and this is for discussion only. Thank you, Troy.
Thanks for having me here today. It was good to meet you at the Pinau Partnership Breakfast. And thanks to everybody. Oh, more? Okay. It's hard to tell. There we go. So my name is Troy Kimball. I am the Southern Arizona manager for Senator Sinema's office. I am not from the great state of Maricopa, even though I was born there. I'm down in Tucson. But I've been with her office since 2019, and the last time I was actually able to come out here before all the restrictions was the overpass ribbon cutting. So that was, I know that was an exciting day for everybody. So I just wanted to give an update of what we're doing and what my job is and our office job is. People like me and other people in our office, we help constituents, particularly with issues with federal agencies. Say you're having an issue with Social Security or the IRS or you're a federal employee, OPM, something like that, and you're not getting anywhere, we can help facilitate some movement. Not always successfully, but we at least try. So I'll leave some cards up here as well, but if there's anything you need help with, recording? Okay. Let's try that again. Anything that we could possibly help with the federal agencies, not state agencies, unfortunately. We don't really have any pull
Darn.
there. I know. Sorry. But sometimes we do talk to them, but we can't help with that. That's what we're there for. We're also here to come out and talk to municipalities, cities, towns, things like that, and see what we can bring, what kind of help and assistance we can bring. And I know that before this meeting, I asked if there were any specific questions that the council had, and I know Vice Mayor Diello had some, and I got one this morning. So I have some updates, some answers to provide to the council. I know the first thing on there was, which we've heard a lot about today, was funding for the 347 to 238. So right now we haven't launched it yet, but our congressionally directed spending, the earmarks, we're getting ready to put that up for availability on our website pretty soon. It's not there yet, but that'll be available soon. As soon as I find out about it, either myself or maybe Austin Kennedy somebody will let you guys know when that will be available. Otherwise, the money that came from the IIJA, the infrastructure bill, you already said it's with the states, and the state is going to decide where that goes. So keep knocking on that door, as I know you guys are very good at doing, and hopefully we can get that, because I know that is an artery for your community, and to have it safe and up to standard is a necessity. So just keep knocking at that door, and then I'll let you know about the availability of the direct congressional spending. The other big question was, what will the senator do to push the Biden administration to close the border? As we know, the relationship between Mexico and the United States is really important, especially with the state's economy. In 2022, over $8.7 billion in Arizona merchandise was exported to Mexico, and another $10.8 billion in goods was imported back over here. So, and we have workers coming across both ways to do things. So having a closed border is never going to be a true viable option. With that said, the border crisis does place an unfair burden on the people of Arizona in the communities, and the Senator's been working to make lasting change and to revamp what the border and immigration does look like. So it's not just kicking the can down the road, we're actively trying to do something to improve it. Will it be perfect? Probably not, but it will be something that it needs to be addressed and that we are addressing. And we want to make sure that there's a fair and humane process for asylum seekers, and not what we've been kind of seeing in the last few years where people are stuck in the border. I personally have gone down to the other side of the border in Nogales to some of the NGOs that are working down there, and people who are just clamoring for help, and they're stuck. So that's not fair to them, and it's not fair for the states. It's not fair for Border Patrol even to have to deal with that. So we're looking to make lasting change there. Last year, with Senator Tom Tillis from North Carolina, they put together a bill to help address this, and led a co-delegation of lawmakers who aren't from the border states down to Yuma, into El Paso, just to show them what is actually happening down at the border, and just to really hammer home to show that this needs to be addressed and needs to be fixed. And as the chair for the Government Affairs Subcommittee on Border Management, she's going to continue to keep doing that. So this is something that is a big push for our office, this Congress, is to get something done there. Hopefully we can work bipartisanship to get this done. That's our hope. But as we've seen both in the state and the federal level, that's not always possible, but we're going to keep trying to do it. So I hope that answers that aspect of the question, Vice Mayor. Okay. And then kind of a follow-up with that one, with helping border cities with funding for the immigrants down there. She's been pushing that from kind of the get-go. Working with the cities and the NGOs that are down there, she's been able to secure $1 billion in funding for that to help manage the crisis and to keep the burden from falling on these smaller communities that don't have the resources, say like Phoenix, something to kind of buoy up this influx of people and issues and fixes. So with that $1 billion, I'm going to keep trying to get more funding to help those border communities. And then you asked about the vote to cut spending, just 10% across the board. Can't commit to what she's going to do or what she's going to support on that one, but it's something that we'll bring up to her, and lately she's aware of it. But yeah, she doesn't even tell us what she's going to vote on before she votes. So I couldn't tell you what she can do, but I'll definitely bring that up. And I know that Mayor Smith asked about this morning about the watershed help, or floodplain help. Okay. You guys aren't alone in that. We've been dealing with that with Apache Junction and down in Nogales as well. That's something that FEMA is aware of, and we can definitely keep asking at the staff level about help. Unfortunately, most of our staffers for FEMA are on vacation right now, so I couldn't actually get to talk to them. But it's something that our office is definitely aware of and has been working on, and it shouldn't be taking this long. But I know a lot of the Clomer and all the other stuff that are really, the time frames are long in and of themselves, and they're backed up. I know it got talked about at the Pinal Partnership meeting 2 months ago, I think. So it's something that I heard about at least 2 months ago. I know that DC has been hearing about it as well. So it's something that we're definitely keeping an eye on and not kind of escaping.
That one will be a big help if you could expedite it in any way, shape, or form. Basically, as you know, it was submitted on February 17th of 22, and there's been several iterations of questions, which we've always responded to, and in most cases, it's the same question, so we don't know if it's being exchanged in hands. But they're currently reviewing it in Baltimore, and we're trying to figure out how a Baltimore team can best understand what happens in the desert. And we feel confident that there's probably a team that's closer that would be able to handle it. It's a pretty straightforward problem and a pretty straightforward solution, which should be simply done in the 90 days that it was expected to be done. So anything that you can do, the Senator Simmons' office has been at the forefront in terms of trying to expedite that. And so we just request that continue to have a little bit of a push from her office.
Oh, of course. And simple and federal government tend not to go hand in hand, unfortunately. Common sense doesn't always prevail, but you're right. You would think there'd be something here, but it's something we're definitely working on and continuing to keep a focus on. So with that being said, that's all I had for today. But again, the council can always reach out for help. Myself, I know you've been in contact with Austin Kennedy before. I'm just down the road. And same thing with public. I'll leave a couple cards up here. If you ever need to contact or help with a federal agency, you can contact me directly. I can get you where you need to go and get a case started. But that's one of my big jobs is just to help the public with federal agencies and make sure that kind of happens because, as I said, federal government is not the well-oiled machine as we all like it to be. So sometimes they just need a little push, and that's what we're there for.
Thank you. Troy, let me ask the rest of the council, any questions, comments, concerns? Yes, Councilmember Gettle.
Mr. Kimball, just please correct me if I heard this wrong. Is it the opinion of Senator Sinema's office that, quote, a closed border is never going to happen? Did I hear that correctly?
A true closed border is not viable. We still need an openness to facilitate free and open trade in that aspect of it. The immigration is kind of a separate, it's like I would say a 1A to a closed border. There needs to be some comprehensive immigration change for us to secure that border. So an open border in terms of the free flowing of trade and commerce and anything else to help our two countries continue to work together. That's what it means by not a closed border. There's still going to be a facilitated open border in terms of international commerce and trade, and it's just working together.
Okay. I guess we can argue on the definition of closed, but a secure border is of paramount concern.
Absolutely, and we agree with that 100%.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Yep.
Anyone else? All right. Oh.
Yep. I have a stack.
Yeah, you can leave them right there on the table. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you, Troy. We
very
appreciate
much.
the presentation.
Of
Thank
course,
you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
That'll take us to agenda item 8-2. 8-2 is it's an app 23-03, and the presentation is basically by myself. This is a open position on the Public Safety Personnel Retirement System Board. We had 2 applicants, both of which were very wonderful, fine residents of the city of Maricopa. I did interview Curtis Dornath. I was intrigued by his 29 years as a police veteran and retired. He has lived in the city of Maricopa 12 years. He worked with the Oregon State Police and was the outpost sergeant. He also was the instructor of the Oregon State Police Academy, graduated from Northwestern Police Academy, and then instructed at the State Police Academy, and also served on a school board. But I have to tell you, in talking with him, the one thing that really struck me was the fact that he felt through all of his levels of service that he gained a great deal of experience dealing with what we might call both sides of an issue. And that's what the Public Safety Personnel Retirement System Board actually deals a lot with, is understanding situations, issues, and understanding both sides. And he commented to me that he likes to take his time and make sure that he has all of the details. So hearing that from him, I would like to make the recommendation. He's also served on the Lions Club, in the Lions Club for 41 years. Given that, I would like to make the proposal that we appoint Curtis Dornath, and Curtis is here tonight. Curtis, if you wouldn't mind standing up. This is Curtis. I know some of our council members also talked to both applicants and also talked just today again with Curtis, and I would like to make that recommendation and proposal that we appoint Curtis Dornath. Any comments, questions, concerns? Yes, Councilmember Gettle.
Thank you, Mayor. I had the privilege of interviewing Mr. Dornath earlier today, and just very impressed with his resume, his years of service to public safety in particular. Serving as state police in the state of Oregon for a number of years. A lot of great effort he's put forth, and so we're grateful that he's a part of our community and he's stepped up to help lead out a little bit on our board. So thank you for applying. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Councilmember Wade.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I just want to reiterate the importance of getting engaged in the city and doing things that are helpful to help the city when you have skill sets that may be useful within. And I appreciate the fact that when we reach out to people to let them know that there's something available for them to get engaged in and possibly participate with, that they jump at the opportunity to do that. So that says a lot about the city of Maricopa and the quality of people who want to participate in the process. So I congratulate you, sir. Thank you very much. And I also congratulate the other candidate that put forth his application as well. Thank you very much for participating there, sir.
Yes, Councilmember Marsh.
Over my career, I've read thousands of resumes and hired thousands of people. And I got to say, this man's resume really struck a chord. Good match for this gig. Thank you for applying, sir.
Anyone else? Seeing no further questions, do I have a motion? So moved by Vice Mayor Vidiello. Do I have a second? Second by Councilmember Lehrman. Any additional questions, comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. Congratulations, Curtis. So at this time, we'll move to Agenda 8.3. 8.3 is a presentation 23-01, and Brenda Hassler will be our presenter this evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. This presentation by Heinfeld Meach and Company is in relation to the audit of the annual comprehensive financial report for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2022, Highway User Revenue Fund report, the management letter, and the single audit report. Excuse me. This presentation is a statutory requirement under Arizona Revised Statutes 9-481-H, which requires that within 90 days after completing the audit pursuant to this statute, the certified public accountant who performed the audit to present the audit results and audit findings to the governing body in a regular meeting. Before I introduce our Heinfeld Meach representative tonight, I would like to take this opportunity to recognize the finance staff. Will any finance staff here with us tonight stand and be recognized, please? Without these employees and their diligence in performing their duties on a daily basis, we would not be able to complete the audit in a timely manner. I would like to personally thank each of you on behalf of Chris, Every Pidu, Lascelles Blancarte, Matt Kozlowski, and myself for all your hard work and diligence and attention to detail you pay in your daily responsibilities. You are what makes our team great. Our representative from Heinfeld Meach has said, our clients who are dedicated and compassionate about what they do is the icing on the cake. I would consider our finance staff and each and every one of you in what you do the icing on the cake. Thank you. We have here tonight Christopher Heinfeld, a CPA and audit partner with Heinfeld Meach and Company. His areas of expertise are working with government and nonprofit audits, federal single audits, development impact fee assurance procedures, and preparing annual comprehensive financial reports, along with numerous other areas of expertise. Christopher has a long list of professional accomplishments and has written numerous articles regarding government accounting standards, board statements, and changes in financial reporting. Christopher and all of the Heinfeld Meach staff have been very helpful to the city over the years in the completion of our annual comprehensive annual financial reports. Christopher?
Thank you very much for those kind words, Brenda. I definitely am not sure I lived up to everything you said, but I'll try to get there. All right, perfect. So we have a presentation for you tonight, but first and foremost, thank you for having me representing our firm, Heinfeld & Meach, here to present to you. Good evening, Mayor, council members. I definitely appreciate this opportunity, and we'll try to keep it brief and short and definitely to the point. But the first thing I want to talk about is the governance communication letter. Hopefully you guys received it. It was part of the packet. It's about a 30-page document, but actually only 2.5 pages of it is the communication letter to yourselves. It's a 2.5-page summary of the audit and the results, and I'm going to briefly go over those items. But first and foremost, the audit timeline I have here on the slide. We started the audit in May 2022. With the commencement and issuance of the engagement letter, along with the signing of that engagement letter. We then came on site in July to actually perform some initial preliminary procedures. This involved testing internal controls as well as documenting our understanding of those controls. We came back in November of 2022 to test year-end balances, including cash and investment balances at fiscal year ends, or total revenues and total expenses, and then drafted the financial statements in December of 2022 and issued the financial statement report and auditor's report on December 23rd, 2022. The scope of our services included the audit in accordance with general accepted auditing standards, government auditing standards, as well as uniform guidance. As Brenda mentioned, we also issued the examination report on HERF compliance, a state compliance requirement, and will be issuing an examination report regarding the annual expenditure limitation report. As part of our requirements to communicate to members that are charged with governance of a government, we need to disclose to you any new accepted accounting policies or standards. One was issued and implemented this year, and that's GASB 87 related to leases and changed how leases are recorded, specifically operating leases. Significant estimates in the financial statements include the useful lives of depreciable assets, as well as assumptions related to the pension plans for ASRS and PSPRS. One last thing we're required to communicate to you is the audit adjustments required to the financial statements. I'm proud to let you all know that we did not make any audit adjustments. The trial balance, the general ledger, the financial information we received from the city is what was used. We did not need to make any significant adjustments necessary to be disclosed at this point. We do prepare the financial statements along with the notes to the financial statements, as well as the annual expenditure report and the schedule of expenditures of federal awards, as well as the data collection form for the city, and that's a required service to be disclosed to all of you. It's required that the city assigns an individual of management to review those services, though, and that has been performed. Other required communications are whether we had any disagreements with management during the course of the audit, and I'm proud to say we did not have any disagreements. Additionally, we require management to sign a representation letter at the end of the audit. This representation letter encompasses a lot of items and is included in that governance communication letter, but really the crux of it is to make sure that they've supplied us with all the information necessary to perform the audit. We continually assess our independence as part of the city's auditors. I personally have worked on this engagement off and on for over the last 12 years. I was at City Hall when it was back in the portables across town, so I've seen this city grow a lot over the last 10, 15 years I've been involved in the audit. The audit reports that have been or will be issued are the annual comprehensive financial report, the single audit report, the examination over the HERF funds, as well as the examination over the annual expenditure limitation report. And I'm just going to highlight a few things on what we call the ACFR, or the annual comprehensive financial report. This report is very lengthy. It's probably 140 pages long. Sort of like, where do we begin here? So I've got a few things that I'm going to talk about, and hopefully these can provide some insights for you guys. First and foremost, page 13, the independent auditor's report. We issue an unmodified opinion, which is basically a clean audit opinion for the financial statements. That's a yay. That's a big plus. No material misstatements, no significant deficiencies, no issues in internal controls needing to be disclosed. Page 17 is what we call management's discussion and analysis. That's a great section if you're looking for year-to-year comparisons, so the current year to the prior year. Page 27 starts the financial statements. Page 41 are the notes to the financial statements. Pages 67 and 81 highlight some required or additional supplementary information related to those financial statements. And then the last section is the statistical section. This is actually an unaudited section, but I think a lot of individuals find it most useful because it has a lot of trend analysis. It shows revenues for the last 10 years. You can really see how an organization's grown. Expenditures by function or category. Property taxes or major property tax payers this year and 10 years ago. So that's a key section I like to point out and drive individuals to. For the single audit report, a few areas I want to highlight is on page 8, the schedule of findings and question costs. If we had findings, if we had significant deficiencies in internal controls, material misstatements, audit adjustments, this is where they'd be disclosed. We have 2 auditors' reports here. The first one is for the financial statements, and I'm proud to say that there are no significant deficiencies or material weaknesses needed to be disclosed. The second is over the federal compliance side of things. The entities required or the cities required to undergo a single audit because of the amount of federal expenditures they have. And so we looked at 2 individual federal programs this year, the Formula Grants for Rural Areas and Tribal Transit Program and the CDBG program. For both those programs, we did not have any significant deficiencies or material misstatements in compliance related to those programs. And lastly, the last page of that report, there is a note there that the prior year finding has been corrected. And then just some final final thoughts or comments here. I think it's been mentioned tonight already, and I'll mention it again. Management and staff were very cooperative throughout the process. The city of Maricopa is just an audit that individuals love coming out to. The audit teams we have out here really enjoy working with the staff you have here. They should be commended. It's something that we don't see at every organization. The teamwork and the diligence and the willingness to really perform their job duties and do it with a smile and be helpful and courteous to others is something that's not always the case. So definitely commend your staff for that. And then lastly, just to second what was previously said by Brenda Hassler, just really appreciate the finance department, the whole team, from Matt, Brenda, and Chris, all the way down to everybody in that department. Super helpful during this year's audit engagement, and it went really smooth despite everything that's been happening around the world. And at that point, I'll open it to any questions or concerns or comments you have.
Council, any questions, concerns? Yes, Vice Mayor.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for what you do. Without you, we wouldn't have, would you say an A+?
A+, plus. Okay,
so we made it really easy for you, right?
Yes, as easy as it can be.
Okay, Rick, renegotiate the contract. Thank you.
I'm not going to say anything else then.
Council, would anyone like to top that one?
Mayor, may I make a comment?
Yes, please, City Manager Horst.
First off, he has been not him, but the company has been an auditor for a long, long time. I think he started when he was 12, because he looks pretty young.
That's what Councilmember Wade was about ready to say.
But I would like to say, our out-facing departments, our citizens fully understand: police, fire, public works, parks and recreation. But none of those departments could do their jobs efficiently, effectively, were it not for the support services, whether that's risk, HR, legal, facilities, IT, fleet, and certainly our budget and our finance people, who really are the backbone to making sure everything else works. Without them, everything else would not work. And yet they're rarely recognized and seen, so I'm grateful for Brenda's comments. We're a great staff. And I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Christopher, if you hang around very long, you'll find out one of the best things about the city of Maricopa, and especially the staff, is most everyone touts it takes a team. And it does take a team in every single aspect of this and pretty much everything we do. So, yeah, you're welcome to hang around and join our finance team if you'd like. But thank you very much for the presentation.
All right, thank you for having me.
At this time, that'll take us to Agenda 8.4, which is a Resolution 23-10, and my understanding is Matt will be giving the presentation.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council, I'll keep this pretty quick. This resolution 23-10 is just confirming compliance with ARS 41-1494. This was passed in 2021, is a part of the packets in front of you, and our Human Resources Manager, Dory Carpenter, has signed that we are compliant with all requirements of this statute. If there are any questions, I'm happy to field them, but otherwise, I feel like we're good to go.
Thank you. Council, any questions, concerns? Great. Seeing none, do I have a motion? Motion by Councilmember Marsh. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Getto. Any further discussion on 8.4? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries. And that brings us to the end of the agenda. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.